Reynolds is north of Los Angeles, where the Hughes Fire is burning, and joins us now live. So, more fires in the region, Rob, by no means under control, and Donald Trump expected to travel to LA, having already lashed out at local officials for their handling of the fires.
Yes, so all of that is true, and the factor here that is most on people's minds, both residents and the firefighters, is this wind. You can see, how it's blowing in the. My hair is blowing in the wind, and the vegetation behind me. So let's get an update right now from Jake Rodriguez. Jake has joined us. He is a public information officer with the U.S. Forest Service. Thank you, sir, for joining us. What is the status right now of this Hughes Fire here in Castaic, California?
Yeah, the fire is currently 24% contained. It is at 10,278 acres. So we've made some progress in the last 12 or 14 hours, but we still have a lot of work to do.
What are the weather conditions like, and how are they affecting the efforts to fight the fire? And, how are they projected to develop over the next 24, 48 hours?
Yeah, we're expecting continued winds through tomorrow afternoon, and probably continue to have the dry air coming in with those winds, and not probably, we will have that tends to follow it. It's hot, it's dry, the fuel conditions are much lower than normal for this time of year, and we're seeing extreme fire behavior along with wind-driven runs that are lining up with topography.
Now, we've been watching helicopters and other aircraft dropping water on the fires, some of them loading up these giant buckets in the reservoir that's nearby. It's not a lack of water to fight the fires that's the problem, is that correct?
It's not a lack of water, and we have approximately 20 helicopters assigned to this fire, as well as numerous fixed-wing aircraft. So we're really hitting it hard with all of our aircraft right now.
So describe the battle against this fire to try to bring it under control, because it really exploded on Wednesday very rapidly in the wind. So firefighters really had their work cut out for them, both in the air and on the ground. Could you tell us about that?
Yeah, again, here we are in January, and the fire conditions that we're seeing are what we would expect to see at the peak of fire season, not in January. So it's very dry out there. We're seeing explosive fire behavior, fast runs, and with these winds gusting at 40 to 60 miles an hour, they're pushing the fire in alignment with the topography, and it's making large runs. We also saw long-range spotting yesterday, and there's continued potential for longer-range spotting up to a mile, mile and a half today with the winds.
So spotting, those are like embers burning, flying in the wind.
Those are embers that are carried by the wind and can land in unburned vegetation and start a new fire ahead of the main fire.
It looks pretty rough out there, just from our vantage point of these chaparral-covered hills. Give us a sense of what it's like on the ground for the fire crews trying to, make their way through these, through the brush and up and down the hills and getting to the hot spots.
In a wildland environment like this, the terrain is very steep, it's rugged, you have to watch where you're stepping, there's rocks, there's bushes that you're trying to get through, you're trying to cut your way through sometimes, and it's very difficult work. It takes a lot of work to get through the vegetation or get into where you need to be, cut that line in the ground, or put the hose lay in if you're climbing a hill.
Would you say that you have adequate resources now to fight this particular blaze?
We continue to get resources as the incident needs. We currently have approximately 1,200 fire personnel on scene, and we'll order more as needed. But we've been fortunate to be able to get a lot of resources that had recently demobilized from the other fires in the area, such as the Eaton and the Palisades, and we had also pre-positioned fire resources in the area because we knew that we had the severe wind conditions.
And one other thing that's fortunate, unlike the Eaton and the Palisades fire, is that this particular fire has cost no one their home or their lives. Is that right, Jake?
We don't have any reports of structures damaged at this point. The fire tends to be burning in the wildlands area around Lake Castaic, and we're not aware of any structures damaged.
Excellent. All right. Thank you very much, Jake Rodriguez of the U.S. Forest Service. We appreciate that very much. So that's an update, the latest from here. appears that firefighters are getting a handle on this, although with these winds, you can never be sure where something might pop up in another area or in another hot spot that has been laying dormant and might ignite again. And again, President Trump is coming to Southern California tomorrow. He's been critical of the efforts of the government of California to fight the fires. He's been talking about a mysterious sort of waterway that goes from Northern California to Southern California, which actually doesn't exist. But we'll have more on that when his visit transpires here on Friday. We don't know whether he's going to be meeting with local officials or with people who've lost their homes and their possessions in the fire. Kerry?
North of Los Angeles for us there. With that update, Rob, thank you.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.